folks, man. This is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Class of Cinematics, and this is one of our special list episodes, and we're going to be talking about the best film heroes. And I guess this is volume 1. I think this is a topic that we can revisit. And I'm joined, as always, with my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo!
Yeah, man, so we each picked 3 for this episode, 3 film heroes that stand out to us. And I'm going to start off with Shaft, man. Detective John Shaft from 1971, man. And what's interesting about this this hero, man, I think it was a time where I think for the culture, black people needed heroes. They needed to see themselves, in these films, doing heroic things, man. And he's kind of also an anti-hero in a little bit. He's working outside of the system. Man's daughter is kidnapped. You know what I'm saying? And it's kidnapped by drug dealers here. So he goes and hits the streets using his know-how and his detective skills to get her back, man. And along the way, man, it's an interesting thing, man. This film, I believe, is directed by Gordon Parks, man, who was a famous photographer of this era. Stars Richard Roundtree, which is also, he became an iconic actor. I think he just passed away recently. What's dope about this character, like I said, not only it gives, black film goers a person to root for. Before this, there's a lot of pimps, pusher type, thugs, character roles, and this is kind of in the beginning of the blaxploitation film era, and I think it's dope because we get this character in 71, which also leads to other dope characters. We get Sweetback that came out the same year, but I think Shaft would inspire other, characters of this type, as well as even getting into the women like Coffee, Foxy Brown, those other films that came to follow. But he also did this stuff, I love that he's operating outside of the confinements of law enforcement. So that means he can get a little bit nastier. He can get a little tougher. He could tap into sources that police aren't privy to. People that, would talk to him and give him info that wouldn't deal with the police. And also he's cracking heads and he's doing it with style. That's another amazing
bad
thing.
Mother.
Yeah, he's a bad mother, man. And he's also got one of the greatest movie soundtracks ever to this day, man.
Yes.
And I think he's an iconic hero for the films, man.
He is.
That's my first pick.
Iconic. He is iconic. Shaft.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna follow that up with Robocop from 1987's Robocop. And so it takes place in New Detroit, where criminals thrive, especially Clarence Boddicker and his gang. And this takes place on young Alex Murphy's first day as a new transfer into New Detroit. He finds out just exactly how ruthless this gang is. After a car chase, he ends up in a warehouse with his partner, all knocked out somewhere else, but in the warehouse. They shoot off his hand, then they shoot off his arm, then they shoot him with a whole bunch of bullets. I mean, he must have had a grade A bulletproof vest on because he still ain't died. And then they finally shoot him in the head, and that was his kill shot. And, the thing about it is that OCP, the corporation that runs the police department, has every police officer sign a waiver that once you are deceased, the company can do with it as they will with your body. So, fortunately for him, there was a new robotics program in place, and he was first in line to become the new prototype for a new kind of cop, a cop with a human face, a human heart, a human brain, but a robot body, a Robocop. And Detroit was ready for this, or they weren't ready for this, but they gonna get ready. You know what I'm saying? Because when Robocop comes on the scene, he starts making changes everywhere. Like he's laying down the law in every way, shape, and form. It doesn't matter if you're out there just robbing a convenience store, or if you're on some rapey shit, or if you're, running a crime syndicate. He's coming for you, and he's going to lay down the law. And then he starts at the bottom tier, works his way up all the way to the top of the totem pole, where he has to fight Ed 209, who was another prototype for a different robotics department. This was a should be new age cop, but had a short circuit and a happy trigger finger, so that did not work. And then he ends up taking out Clarence Boddicker and his gang, and then has to ultimately take out the CEO of the OCP Corporation because of corruption and all of the crazy things that happen in the corporate world.
Yeah, I think for what makes him a hero for me is the end of the film when he has to stand up and go against his programming, against the people who created him. Mm-hmm. Like because it's dope that the humanity still exists in him, but exists in him. But then he has to turn on his creators to do what's right, and he overcomes what he's programmed to do. In order to do the right thing, man. So yeah, he's definitely a hero.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my next one is going to be Princess Leia, man. I know Luke Skywalker gets a lot of props for the Star Wars series, man, but I think Princess Leia is also great as a hero in this series as well. She's actually the one who gives the resistance the plans to the Death Star. And kind of has that plan to blow up the Death Star, man. And this is the thing that's giving the evil empire its power and leverage over the entire galaxy. You know what I'm saying? So she's dope, man. In my book, when we meet her in the first film, they were introduced, and the New Hope film, that sets everything in motion, sets Luke thing in motion, and she's a firecracker, bro. She stays like that through at least those first 3 films, that we up into Jedi, and she's constantly there, man. Just giving support. She's a great fighter, handy with the blaster. You know what I'm saying? It just keeps the spirit of resistance alive that allows the Jedi and Luke and company to overthrow this empire and bring hope, to the galaxy, man. It's really cool just seeing her throughout the series evolve in a different way than Luke. Luke is really green, but Leia's out here, man. She's ready to go, man. It's amazing seeing these scenes in the beginning, even when they rescue her. As soon as they rescue her, man, as soon as she can get that blaster in her hand, she's taking suckers out.
Like, give me the gat.
My man, Luke is all green and not really sure of himself, man. But she's like, bruh, but let's get it cracking, man. Mm-hmm. And it's dope to see her character evolve through the series. Even with the more recent films, you see her now as kind of a mentor. She still has that leadership role, but she's more in the base like a general. It's cool seeing her in the field in those early films, getting busy, but it's also cool seeing her using her experience and wisdom and guidance and mentorship, to the lesser characters. And then even like later on, man, when she makes that ultimate sacrifice, and I think it's Rise of the Skywalker, I believe. And that's even amazing in this way. A lot of people were upset at that, but I'm like, honestly, this makes sense, man. We're looking at a hero, and I think part of being a hero is putting the mission above yourself, man. Putting the greater good above herself. And she does that at one point and sacrifices herself. And it is what it is, man. It's a sad moment, but I think it's a cool moment because it culminates in everything else it validates everything else that she has been doing up until this point, man. The results that we get, man. And it's awesome, man. To this day, a dope inspiration. And what's crazy, when this film came out, I think action films and heroic films were still centered around men. And for them, even though Star Wars kind of was, those early films was Luke Skywalker's story, to put her in this film too as an important character, just as important as Han Solo, just as important as Obi-Wan and all of them. And I think that was great of Lucas to do that and include and show that, women are also important, in acts of heroism, man, and
Absolutely.
being heroic, and can be heroic in their own right, man,
Damn right. And you know what? I'm going to have to follow that. You couldn't have said it any better, so I'm going to follow that up with Miss Ellen Ripley. She is by far the ultimate survivor turned soldier, and you see that transition happen from 1979's Alien to 1986's Aliens, whereas in the first Alien, she was just she was a crew member. She was unsuspecting, unassuming, not really knowing what was going on. No one did, and just through guff and willpower and the will to survive.
Just also general intelligence. That's what I love with her. Like common sense.
And yes, common sense. Yes. Was able to push through and had the fortitude to push through and go toe to toe with a single xenomorph and able to best the xenomorph and survive. And then 57 years later, after floating in space aimlessly, she is then found by the company that had the other ship. Wyland-Yutani. There you go. I couldn't remember that if I tried. But yes, they find her, and then what's crazy is as she is rescued, in a sense, she is then persecuted for the deaths of her crewmates, held responsible for blowing up the ship, and they almost treat her as if this alien didn't exist, but then they also know that the alien does exist because there is a colony that they now have with people, the little colonists on this little planet that they know is infested with aliens. And what they do after they kind of clip her wings, tell her she can no longer fly spaceships and everything, have her pretty much working as a loading dock worker, which will come into play later, working the loading dock machines and everything. Then they lure her back in to head, just to be intelligence with a group of military.
She's the consultant, pretty much.
There you go, consultant for these colonial Marines, and dude, she stands above the rest when it comes to them. I mean, these men, these women, they are battle tested, they are trained, and this is something that they are used to. They're cracking jokes. They're not scared. She is the only one who has the wherewithal to know what they're dealing with, and she tries to put them hip, but most of them don't listen. They're like, yeah, whatever. And then as we cruise through, she then starts to navigate through this situation as these military individuals are being picked off one by one. She then ends up having to battle the queen. We find out that this place is infested with the xenomorphs, and they kind of move like bees, whereas there is a hive, there is a queen, there is an egg, a bunch of eggs, and then there are a bunch of the drones, which would be the soldiers, which would be the equivalent of the xenomorph that she saw in the first one. She's taking them all out. She goes into the hive with a blowtorch, starts flaming on all the eggs solo, and then she finds a little girl, Newt. She takes her under her wing, and is able to rescue the girl, rescue the one surviving military guy. They get back to their own planet, and then has to go toe to toe with the queen alien, which is 3 times the size of the xenomorphs. Has to fight it in the damn loading exoskeleton. I mean, it is beautiful to see on screen. It is amazing to just watch her just kind of just go chest out and just balls to the wall, just fighting this alien in such a way where she's fearless and in every aspect of it. And it's so cool to see her just rise above the rest in a better fashion than she did in the first film. And it's just, I mean, like I said, when it comes to fighting aliens, she's a first round draft pick.
Yeah, it's also got some cool Reeboks on, and one of the best lines in action film history. Get away from her, you bitch! Like the way she says that is iconic, man.
Yeah.
So my next final one, I'm going to be talking about Chief Martin Brody from the film Jaws. Jaws is one of my favorite films, and Brody is one of my favorite heroes, man. And what I like about Brody, he's a hero just off duty alone, man. It's not like he's a reluctant hero to me in a way where it's like this job is just really, he's a local sheriff and his job really doesn't involve sharks and water, but he realizes there's a threat going on in his community. People are getting killed. There's a shark in the area. He even advises the mayor that it's a good idea to close his beach, but it sucks because the town of Amity's economy is so dependent on the summer beach season. It poses an issue. And his thing is, I know there's an issue. I know our economy depends on this, but we've got lives at stake, man. And even the mayor, that's not registering with him. He's more money over, lives at this point. You're the cow to town, they make most of their money during these months, and then for the rest of the year, it's slim pickings. So he goes above that, man, and takes it upon himself to the mayor's not going to do it. I've got to do it, man. He does convince him to allocate some funds, but the mayor still opens his beak. And we have incidents, and so then it's like, I told you, bro, you're not listening to me. I told you. So, then the mayor's like, all right, we got 4th of July coming soon next, so we got to deal with this. And Brody's still like, bro, we got to close this beach. So he gets allocated a little bit of money to form a crew to go and hunt this shark that's out here doing these killings, man. And I think it's dope. He's not even a water person like that. You know what I'm saying? His kids are in they got their boat and all that. But he's not a waterman, and he goes out on this ship with a shark hunter, Quint, crazy ass. And Quint's had his own
man, yo.
Quint's had his own history, so he has kind of a grudge with sharks, and he's kind of has a sadistic. He could get his money in a lot of different ways, but he chooses to make his money by hunting sharks. And he has a grudge from being a guy that was on the Indianapolis. That was a cool story. But I think Brody is the guy that really has the most purest heroic intentions. Like, he doesn't want to do this. He's out of his elements in a lot of ways, even by getting on a boat. Like I said, he's not a sailor, but his sense of duty is so high, and I think that's where the heroics of him shine, that he's willing to put himself in these positions that are awkward, unfamiliar, dangerous, for the greater good of a guy whose job is to protect his community and look out for them. And I think that's dope to me, man. A lot of people, take on, the chief, it's like, all right, it's a duty. I'll get paid for it. But I don't get the sense that they have the same sense of duty as Brody. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool to me. Like, that guy's a hero, man. And he's even the last guy standing. No, he's not the last guy. I think, what's the name makes it too. But
yeah, the little doctor,
the scientist,
Dreyfus.
Yeah, I love Dreyfus in this too. But he's the last guy who takes Jaws out eventually. He's the guy. Smile, you son of a bitch. Yeah, and it's amazing, man. Like I said, you see it go down. You see him kind of grow, and throughout the whole film, man, he still remains this guy that's doing this ultimately for the greater good of people. Even that one scene, man, when he's chumming the water and Jaws hit him with the peekaboo. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, they need a bigger boat. And I'm like, man, and it's still in the face of that. Some guys would have abandoned, like, take me home, drop me off. But he stays the course, man, and he ends up being the hero in this fantastic film. This is in my top 5 films ever, man. I think shout out to Steve Mazan. I'm going to be on this Mazan Movie Club. I forgot to tell you, upcoming episode, and I think we're talking about Boys in the Hood. So in the beginning, he asked me, what's my favorite movie? I said Apocalypse Now, and he said, what do you think is the best movie? And I told him I think it was Jaws, and only because I think Jaws has the perfect blend of so many elements, and it makes it one of the films that's it's the only thing missing from Jaws is romance. Otherwise, you've got suspense, you've got horror, you've got thrills and chills, you got high action adventure. In the later third, when they're doing the barrels on Jaws, and you've just got heroism. Like, it's just a great film, and it's just in my top 5 to this day because of characters like Martin Brody, man.
And it changes the way people view going on vacation to the beach.
And it was the first blockbuster, man. Like, it's a lot of things with that film that I think make it one of the best films ever made.
Shout out to Brody, because when duty called, he answered the phone. So I'm gonna close this thing out with Blade from 1998's Blade, and what a cool character! I mean, he is just badass on every level, from his look to his mannerisms to just the way he conducts his business. And it's wild because it's set in a world where humans are nothing more than food, and vampires are the hunters. And Blade is the rare exception, half human, half vampire. A daywalker, and he has made it his personal mission to eradicate vampires by any means necessary, and he has all the means to do so. He's got He's got his homie Whistler, who's pretty much like the equivalent of what Alfred is to Batman, Whistler is to Blade. You know what I'm saying? He got some hooked up with a dope car, you know what I'm saying? But more than that, he's got all of these weapons, just an ensemble of weapons, silver stakes, a double-edged razor boomerang, bullets that fuse, or what, garlic tip bullets that shoot garlic into your body. I mean, he's got a double-edged sword that's got some kind of handle grip that if you don't grab it the right way, it's going to blow your hand off. I mean, and then even if he runs out of weapons, his hand-to-hand combat is A1. Okay, so he's ready to go when it comes to taking out vampires. And the thing of it is that he does it with an aggression, with a purpose, because he wants to find a way to find a cure. And in his mind, finding a cure is first off eradicating the cause for the disease, which is the vampires. You know what I'm saying? Because with him, he has all of the strengths that vampires have, none of the weaknesses except for the thirst. And he thanks to Whistler, he has been able to find a way to kind of curb the thirst, but it's still there. And
that should look painful though.
It does. It does. When he injects him, like, man, every vein he had in his body busts out. But you know, it's and that is like, you know, I feel like that is one of the ultimate acts of heroism, is when you are doing heroic acts that are purposely driven, not just for personal gain, but for the masses. Like you said with Brody, like, he's not just doing this for himself. He's doing it, of course, so that way he can become so he doesn't become what he despises most, but also to save and protect those that cannot protect themselves. And, you know, and he does it in a way that is just so cool. Because, I mean, when you see him, I mean, his presence is felt. He's more scary than the vampires are. Honestly, like,
I don't know, bro.
When
the vampires in this joint was kind of nasty,
when he drops in the room, though, I mean, my man, dog, hey.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man, because, like, I feel like one of the cool things that this series introduced was the sleazy vampire, you know, element, and you can see some of that too in 30 Days and 30 Nights. Man, them vampires just like
they're scummy. They're
like
scummy.
They stink, dude. They're and they're just nasty attitudes.
They're scummy,
fucking psychopaths, yo.
But you know what? But because he's got that, you know.
He killed them, but I'd rather be near him than the vampires in this mug, because them jokers, you know. Yeah, but yeah, he's awesome, man.
He's a bad dude, awesome, man.
And you think about it, I feel like Marvel owns a lot of their current success to Blade, the character in this film, you know. So
absolutely, because I mean, he's an abstract hero. He's not someone that was a household name at the time, and it was a risk, and it was a risk worth taking. And you know, ultimately in this world, it was fun to see him go to work. It was fun to see him hunt the vampires and do what he does best. And you know, you get a comforting feeling knowing that, you know what I'm saying, he's making sure that, like I said, those that aren't vampires were protected, even if he wasn't making it his personal mission to protect you as an individual. He's kind of like, the person who watches over the sheep. You know what I mean? He's protecting all the sheep. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man. Yeah, folks, man, I hope you enjoyed this, man. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're going to be back soon, man, but for another list. And, yeah, man, check us out on Classes of Cinematics at Instagram. And this is Monkey. Catch me at Monkey Blood on Instagram.
And this is Bobby Blockbuster. As always, you can catch me on this show or on our other film review show, or you can catch me out there in the real world. Woo!
All right, folks, man, we out of here. Peace.